Hello, my friends. Welcome to another adventure in PMP exam studying. We're taking a look at the Agile quiz for PMP exam students here. And you know how this goes. I'll give you a few seconds to take a look at the question and select an answer. So let's get started. I'll give you a few seconds more. Take your time. If you need more time, hit the pause button. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Let's take a look at what the answer could be. Using the process of elimination, there are certain things you don't know. You don't know that the product owner needed your assistance. That's not indicated in the question. You don't know if you encountered traffic and there is conflict and you need to give the team space. How does that help? Anything. So those are all bogus. The best answer is C. You just need to ensure the daily Scrum was held. That's your job as the Scrum Master. Remember that in this world of Scrum, we could have a Scrum Master that has trained and coached a team to effectively facilitate and therefore can work with other teams. Let's go to our next question. You're working on a Scrum team, the product is very laborious, and you may need multiple teams. What is the maximum number of team members on a Scrum team? I am going to give you a little bit more time to think about this one. So think about it and go for an answer. All right, let's hit that end button, choose your option. And 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the answer to this one, using the process of elimination for what is bogus, 12 would be too big a number. Remember, we're talking about working on a Scrum team. In the Scrum guide, we have less than 10. So all these are incorrect. The best answer is less than 10. In your Agile practice guide, bear in mind that it does read between 3 and 9 members on an Agile team. And this is the best option from what has been given in the question. Let's go to our next one. Read the question and take as much time as you need. right, my friends, let's end it here. The answer to this question, if you take a look, you can see team charter, social contract, team agreement, they are all the same thing. If you take a look at pages 49 and 50 in the Agile Practice Guide, you'll see that team charter, social contract, team agreement are used interchangeably. And therefore, the answer to this is all of the options above. That is where you can find the definition of done. You can find the definition of done in the team charter. Reference could also be made to the definition of done in the Agile project charter as well. Just bear that in mind. All right, let's move into our next question. Your customer is in the process of ensuring the deliverable is fit for use. What does this describe? I'll give you a few seconds. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Well, taking a look at this, it doesn't tell you if it is hybrid or predictive or agile. So you just got to go with what makes the most sense based on either, right? So taking a look at the options, it cannot be sprint planning. That's not where we ensure a deliverable is fit for use in Scrum. There's no such thing as sprint elicitation. And I should get rid of that tick there. So it's not that, and it's not control scope, because control scope is not where you would ask your customer to check a deliverable. The answer is validate scope. And I hope that green check mark didn't give it away, but that is the answer. All right, let's go to our next one. Next one says, you work for a research company that has just gone through an agile transformation. You are now working on a project with a low degree of change and a high frequency of delivery. What is the best way of managing the associated risks? Again, if you need more time, hit the pause button. I'll give you a few seconds to decide. All right, 3, 2, and 1. So you got to use the process of elimination. So since it has said low degree of change, you need to know that is closer to the left-hand side of that grid. Remember, you got a grid with delivery, frequency of delivery, and an axis with degree of change. All right, so you got the frequency of delivery on the y-axis, and you've got the degree of change on the x-axis. And if you are at the bottom left, I'll just use this. This would be predictive. The bottom left, top left would be incremental. Top right would be agile. And bottom right would be iterative. So think about it like this: predictive, incremental, agile, and iterative, right? So since this question says a low degree of change and a high frequency of delivery, you can guess it's going to be this one. See? So the best answer to this is option D. The best option is D because that is the incremental choice. Carry out the work using an incremental approach. You can find more of the information for this on pages 14, 18, and 19 in the Agile Practice Guide. Next question. All right. If you need more time, be sure to hit the pause button. The team is behind schedule in the sprint you just started. Whose responsibility is it to keep the team on track? In the world of Agile, we rely on decentralized leadership. So the answer is not a central figure, not the product owner, not the Scrum Master, not senior management. The answer is team, C. Let's go to our next question. Your team has accomplished 250 story points in this sprint. At the beginning of the sprint, management was told to expect 300 story points. Which of the following is true? I'll give you a little bit of time to think about this one, a bit tricky. All right, I've given you quite a bit of time to think about that one. Let's go ahead and end this one. 3, 2, and 1. All right, so ask yourself, what is earned value? Earned value is also known as the budgeted cost of work performed, right? So in this case, if your team has accomplished 250 story points, that is not the earned value. That is what was planned. That's the planned value. So E is wrong. Earned value is not 300. We can also deduce that C would be bogus because there's no cost information here. Okay. Now, ETC is the estimate to complete. You could say there's an estimate to complete the remaining 50 story points, but it wouldn't equate to $50 because there's no currency or cost information given in the question. So we don't know that. What we do know is that we are behind schedule because you've got 250 done and you promised 30. So in this regard, we know that B is likely to be the right option. Now, if you calculate SPI equals earned value divided by planned value, earned value is what you accomplished, 250. What you promised was 300, and that is going to give you the 83.83, 0.8333, and so on. And that's why the answer to this is B. All right, so just convert the story points that you got done to earned value and the story points you promised to planned value, and you'll end up getting the answer on your test. All right. And that's how you do it. All right, let's move to our next one. You have just joined a new company that is using a mixed approach of Scrum and Kanban. Majority of the method is based on Scrum using a Kanban board and WIP limiting principles. Where would you expect to find the definition of ready? I'll let you think about it for a little bit. All right, that should be enough. And you probably realize some of these questions are incredibly short, pretty straightforward, right? So on the exam, you can expect to find questions that are this short. Using the process of elimination, we can cancel things that are not sensible, like the definition of ready won't be in the roadmap. This is something the team uses, right, to define when their user stories are ready to be worked on. In other words, they meet the INVEST acronym. Remember what INVEST stands for? Independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small enough to fit within a sprint, and testable. Let's search the INVEST acronym, right? It wouldn't be in the client contract, neither would it be in the project charter at the very beginning of the project. This is after the team has had some deliberation. So the best answer, my friends, is C. It's team contract. All right, let's move to our next question. You are the facilitator on an Agile project. Whose responsibility is it to develop and manage the schedule? I'll give you a few seconds. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Very similar to what we discussed previously. This is not a centralized affair in the world of Agile. It's decentralized. So it wouldn't be any of the central figures, such as the product owner or the facilitator. And it wouldn't be management. It would be the developers themselves, the development team. So the best answer to this is C. Remember, develop and manage the schedule. It's the team, the development team. All right, let's move to our next one. The team is independent and functioning very well on their own on your project. There's no conflict and team members keep to themselves most times. Which stage are they likely in? All right, hit the pause button if you need more time. I'll give you a little bit. All right, let's end it. It's a very short question. So it says the team is independent. That word in and of itself is a red flag. The reason is if the team is independent, everyone doing their own thing, working on their own, conflict hasn't started, very likely. So it says independent and functioning very well on their own. On your project, there is no conflict. That's suspicious right there. And team members keep to themselves. They're not working together. So they haven't hit conflict yet. They are in the forming stage. The best answer to this is forming. It's not storming, obviously. It's not performing because they're independent, and it's not norming. So the best answer is forming. You got to look for those keywords that define each one of these stages. All right, let's take a look at the final question. Again, a pretty straightforward one if you understood this one. The team is interdependent and functioning very well. There is constructive conflict and team members are mentally co-located. Which stage are they likely in? All right, give it a few seconds. All right, if you need more time, hit the pause button. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, the answer to this is not
storming, obviously, because it says they are mentally co-located. It means they're on the same wavelength, the same bandwidth, right? They're working together, right? It says there's constructive conflict. So it's not destructive. Storming doesn't necessarily produce constructive conflict. It also says interdependent. So it's not forming because they are independent in forming, not interdependent. In norming, they're not yet interdependent. So the best answer, my friends, to this one is they are in the performing stage. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this. Remember, if you're getting ready for your PMP exam and you need a boost, you need to go on down to the website, hpmexam.com, hpmexam.com. And every Sunday, there is a half-day boot camp, because that's a day when most people are not in motion or at work or doing something crazy, right? That takes them away from studying. hpmexam.com for a 4-hour boot camp. Highly recommend you go there. We cover all of the content needed for the PMP, and we get you in ship shape. We get you to find the gaps, to recognize things you do not know. I hope you found this to be useful, my friends. All the very best, and talk to you soon. Bye for now.